Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk to you about The Last of Us, Season 1, Episode 8. And I don't know what the episode is called, but this was an extremely good episode. It's another Ellie-centric episode that puts her as not only as a damsel in distress, but like a damsel who gets herself out of the situation by not only using her wits, but her strength and everything. She has to fight her way out of this dire situation. And instead of Joel being the one to like protect her, she has to be the one to protect them both because he's still out of it from last week, and now his wound is getting infected. Bella Ramsey did an amazing job with this. She even had a little country to her voice in the beginning when she's trying to scare the big guys away and everything. And it's like, like I've always said, I've always been proud of her. Ever since The Worst Witch, I always knew she could act. And so I'm so glad she didn't fully give up on acting and she came back to it. And, people are loving this show. And once again, it finally started trending again on Twitter. However, before The Last of Us trended, a phrase got trended: baby girl, because that phrase gets said in this episode. And so, because of the whole bonding mode between that of Joel and that of Ellie. Now, I've been wondering about, oh, by the way, once again, no zombies. No zombies, no zombies. How can you have a zombie show without freaking zombies, man? I simply don't understand it. And so I still think The Walking Dead is a million times better when it comes to being that of a zombie show. However, this thing does manage to make you think about one thing. One thing about The Walking Dead is I never really got the idea of food, them running out, them being starving, this and that. The Last of Us makes me think, yeah, this really is an apocalypse and people really are starving and stuff like that. And so, like, in this episode, this takes, see, I've been wondering when certain elements were going to show up in this show because they haven't showed up yet like they do in other apocalyptic stuff. And they finally showed up. Only problem is because this show has a very bad pacing problem, they decided to cram all three of these elements all into one episode and into one character. And it sucks because it doesn't give time to breathe. That's the problem with this show. Characters you meet, you never have time to breathe with them. And of course, they never really recur. So once they're there, and that's it. And so that's one problem I have with this. And so, like, these elements that were added in this episode, because it wasn't able to breathe, sometimes something is similar to that and it's happening, but you're not quite sure. But in the back of your mind, you're kind of like, is this going on? Is this not? And so, like, it leaves you wondering. So when you see that big reveal, it's like, and everything. Only problem is you don't have time to breathe like other things do. What are those three elements are? Well, a super religious cult, grooming, slash pedophilia, and cannibalism. Yes, we finally got ourselves some cannibals. And I'll say this right here, right now. The cannibal stuff and that's been done so much better in The Walking Dead. It was done better in the 5th season of The Walking Dead, even though it happened very quickly. But in those episodes it happened, oh boy, you got scared. It happened somewhat interestingly in Van Helsing when they started eating vampires and stuff like that. It was interesting, but I don't think it was done that effective. And not only that, but The Walking Dead Telltale game. That cannibal scene was scary. But here, it kind of like, it just kind of floats on by, it passes on by, you get your shock, but then that's about it. And so the cult stuff, I've seen cult stuff happen better in a TV show called Sliders. Because for the most part, this religious cult, the people here really don't seem that religious, and neither does the man and David and everything. And so it's kind of like, for a religious cult, you really don't feel that. You feel that they're in a cult and it's a group of people who keep their head down and scared, but you don't really know why they're scared of the leader, because he doesn't seem that scary until he actually does. And then you kind of get that, but you still don't get the feel that they're a religious cult. As for the grooming and the pedophilia type stuff, when it happens, then yeah, it's effective, but I've seen it better in other shows. So because it doesn't have time to breathe, you really don't get that sense of, I guess you could say entertainment pleasure. I don't know what to really say how to end that, because you're watching this for entertainment reasons. So, but you really don't get that real sense until it happens and stuff. And so, like, trust me, if you ever watch the Telltale Walking Dead, they have cutscenes and everything like that. Go find the first season. It's a couple of episodes in. It is some freaky stuff and everything. I watched it on YouTube years ago, and it's just like, what? And Duck still just eating the flesh after he knows it's human flesh and everything. Oh boy. And so who gets to deal with all this? Ellie. And you know she's scared of everything because she's in that spot that she doesn't want to be in. She is scared of being alone. Now, Bella Ramsey, one thing I've noticed about her, she does an excellent job of being terrified. Like, you really feel like she has a sense of terror on her face. That's because it's actually real. See, I've stated before, like when I talk about The Worst Witch, how like devastated I was when she left the show, and she left because of mental illness. What kind of mental illness she has, I have no idea, because she's never stated. However, before this show came out, she was on Jimmy Kimmel, and he told her, or he asked her, since you've been in an apocalyptic show, if zombies were real, do you think you'll be a good survivor and everything? And she said, no way. She said she will literally be terrified the moment she sees a monster, and she would just completely freeze up and won't move. And that's because in real life, she's very timid and everything. And things just like, get to her like that. And so that's why she always has that great facial expression when she's terrified, because it's actually real and stuff. Now, one thing I noticed about this episode, even though it does take place very similar to that of the video game, the video game has zombies in it, the cult, where the heck did they go? They're in the beginning scene. They're in it a little bit in the middle. But then once Ellie is taken captive there, because they hate her guts, where exactly did they go? They even saw a building on fire, and yet they were nowhere to be found. It's kind of like, where did the people go? Most likely it's because of the pandemic. Yes, we're still in it, people. People are still getting sick and people are still dying. You just don't hear about it. And so to cut the cost of people getting sick, they probably had to like vacate like certain scenes and stuff like that. And yeah. So anyway, let's get into this episode. So Ellie is still taking care of Joel. Joel is still out of it because he's still jacked up from last week. Why? Well, simply put, he got stabbed with a giant rusty nail, and that's completely dirty, and the rust is like poisoning him inside and stuff. And so like, since there's a foreign minerals in his body system, his immune system can't like kick it out and everything. Plus she sewed him up with a dirty, nasty like needle and thread. She had no rubbing alcohol, no soap, nothing, no flames to like disinfect it. She just sewed them on up. She don't know no better, you know what I'm saying? And so if she didn't do that, then he would have bled out. Now, she could have went all medieval and cauterized him, but then they say you're not supposed to do that. It's best to sew him up. So he's looking a little green around the wound and everything. Now, I remember when I was watching The Walking Dead, and when gangrene starts to set in, they said you can actually suck it up with like a needle and syringe, the green area, and then clean the wound and stuff like that. I don't know if that's real. I don't know. I'm just saying, it taught me that. But basically what he needs is medicine and everything. And of course she doesn't have it there. But Ellie being Ellie, she still wants to be a teen and do things she ain't supposed to be doing. And she's getting a little hungry. She's giving Joel like water, like, with her fingers and like dipping her fingers in the water and putting on his lips. And then she started eating a little bit of his food. I'm thinking to myself, no, please don't do the bird feeding technique. Please don't be like Alyssa Silverstone. Please don't. When you chew the food up and you spit it in a baby's mouth. That's the bird technique. And Alyssa Silverstone, the actress from Clueless, the movie, actually used to feed her kids like that. I am still grossed out to the day by reading that. Lots of parents do that. Gross. But thankfully she just put the rest of the food on like his chest, and he has a little bit of a cracker to eat. And this is what I'm saying is that you really get the sense that people are hungry on this show. Like when Sam talking about like, he's starving, I've never heard that in like The Walking Dead. So that's why I don't ever think about food, because they seem to always have food in The Walking Dead, except for that time in season 5 when they didn't and they had to eat some dogs and everything. And so like she goes out with the hunting rifle, sees a rabbit, gets away, she sees a deer, she shoots the crap out of it. It runs off and everything, and it finally dies. Now, when it dies, these two men find it. It's David and his companion. His companion is Troy Baker, the one who plays Joel in the video game, the motion capture and everything. Now, Troy Baker is a voice actor. I don't know if he does live action. This is the only live action thing I've ever seen him in. And ironically, he doesn't say much and he doesn't do much, and he's barely in the show. And he just keeps staring. So my guess is he ain't that great of an actor because a lot of voice actors aren't and everything. That's why you never really see them in live action stuff. And so like, because I remember I saw Enchanted and Julie Benson was in that, the original Ariel and everything. And I just remember thinking to myself, her acting's a little off. And I didn't know why until I found out why. And so like, now David, he is our religious cult member. Before this episode even started, he was with his congregation, about like 24 people or so. And some girl dad died and she's upset. And so it doesn't tell you right off they're cannibals, but every time the cult is around, you get this weird feeling that something is up. And so like, they can't bear it. He said, we can't bear it right now because it's too cold outside. And so I'm thinking to myself, that's kind of weird. Like, why would he say that? And so like, when they find the deer, they know sooner or later whoever shot it is going to come and get it. Well, here comes Ellie with that rifle, Annie Oakley and everything. And she tells them to drop their rifle so they're going to get it between their eyes. She ain't playing. So his companion's all pissy and everything. And so David's just trying to calm her down and everything. And so she lies, talking about she lives with a bunch of people and this and that. And so basically, they come up with the decision to give her medicine. And she tells like his companion to go get it, and if he doesn't come back with it, boom, between the eyes, his friend's gonna get it. And so like, He goes and he gets the medicine. During this time, Ellie is talking to David. He's talking to her, trying to like groom her, talking about, you can be protected, this and that. The conversation is starting to go kind of normal. Even though he's a religious cult leader, he still seems to have that calm, nice demeanor. Until he says something that was kind of like, oh crap. He says that, they're looking for somebody. He said he sent like 4 men out to like look for stuff, and 3 of them came back. The one who didn't was a father, and that's the girl dad who died. And he said the father died from a man who's traveling with a little girl. Instantly, I'm like, oh crap, that's her. This is what happened last week. That was the man that stabbed Joel and everything. So then he's all like, it's okay. He tells his companion, put the gun down and everything. He snuck up on Ellie, which is interesting because she snuck up on them when they was looking at the deer. So he wants her dead because the town people want Joel dead, and they want Ellie because she's the companion. But he convinces his friend to put the gun down, give her the medicine. And he actually does it. Like, why are people scared of this man, So she knows she's screwed. She takes the medicine and she takes off running. And because she knows that they're coming back and they're coming back with more men and stuff. And so she gives him the medicine. And the first thing I thought to myself was, how does she know it's really medicine? How does she know it's not poison? But she injects Joel in the way, but she has no idea what to do with that. So she just injects him in the wound, which I'm not no doctor. I'm not no medical practitioner, but I'm pretty sure you don't inject somebody in their wound with penicillin or whatever it might be. That's just my guess, you know what I'm saying? And of course, like I told you before, on a show called Sliders, they made penicillin from scratch. And they did it by boiling mold in water and everything. That's like, yeah, we're drinking mold, people. We're drinking mold juice and everything. But it saved all them people back in the day. So after injecting him a couple of times, she wants him to hurry up and wake up because she knows those men are coming. Now back at the cult place, he tells them they're about to start tracking the girl. They're about to find the guy and justice will be served. One girl blurts out, kill her too, kill them all. He walks up to her, smacks the taste out of her mouth. Then he does the whole parent thing where, like, the parent, after they get through beating you with the belt back in the old day, they're like, nah, I did that because I love you. It's kind of like that grooming crap, man. So he extends a hand out to her and she does it. And, he's all like, I know you lost your father, but I'll be your father and everything. Now, her mother was cooking food. Now, they brought the deer back, but before they brought the deer back, this is the part that I did not catch. Some guy comes in with some red looking stuff. I didn't know what that red stuff was. I thought it might have been beets or something like that, like chopped up or something. And she says, what is this? But I think she said, what meat is this? I didn't hear her say the word meat until I rewatched it. So throughout the whole time, I didn't pick up on the cannibal thing. I just picked up on something strange is going on. And I'm thinking to myself, could they not be? And so, like, he said is venison and everything. And she had a very worried look on her face. That made me know, I'm like, so why is she worried about beets for? And that venison, wait, what's going on here? And then, so, something's going up. So then when the people started eating the food, the way they ate the food was disturbing. It's very much like those cults are that eat stuff that they're not supposed to eat. They're scarfing it down. They're eating like barbarians and everything, and they're eating very quickly like they've been starving. So I'm thinking, sorry, something's up, but I didn't know it was human flesh because I didn't know what that red stuff was. It reminds me of that Slider episode, Slither, because those people was eating the juice from a giant mutated slug. And it kept them young and immortal. And the way they kept eating it, which is like disturbing, similar to how they're eating now. And so here come David, and here comes his group of men, a bunch of mountain men looking people. And they track down the neighborhood that Ellie and them are staying in. Ellie starts smacking Joel, telling him to wake up, gives him a knife, and is all like, here. Anybody comes through that door, you just kill him. And so she barricades the door. She hops on a horse. She starts shooting to draw them off. Well, one dude shoots the horse, and she's completely knocked out. His friend tells him to do it, like just kill her. But David comes in and saves her, and none of those three men with the rifle take David out. Why is this man so scary? Well, we're going to find out. So basically, at some point, Joel finally wakes up when this guy comes in to kill him and everything. Joel has now recovered completely. A little too quickly, if you ask me, but this is TV, so you know. And so Joel gets the drop on one of them, kills one of them, gets the drop on the other one, and he ties two of them up. And so, like, this is finally, we get to finally see Joel be bad. They keep saying he's a brutal person, but I never believed it until now. And basically, he starts stabbing the dude in the knees, all like, look, tell me where she's at. He's all like, fine. So he gets out a map. And it's just like the video game. He puts the knife in the dude's mouth, all like, show me where we're at, and then show me where your place is at. And then after he does it, he kills the man. And his friends are like, dude, why'd you do that? Like, he told you where he's at and everything. Like, I know, I believe him. And then he kills that too. So he goes off looking for Ellie, and he goes through like a meat storage locker room, and there you see it hanging upside down, dead bodies with the heads cut off. It is disturbing. It is creepy. So he's desperately trying to get to her. Ellie is in a cage, and we all know how she feels about that. David is now talking to her. Strange, because none of the people are around. They now have the person they want to kill, but nobody's around. So for him and his companion, henchman person. So he's talking to her and is all like, look, these people want you dead, but I'm not going to let that happen. See, me and you, we're the same. We're similar, and we can run this place, and I'll even let them keep Joel alive. And at first I'm thinking to myself, why does he see her as an equal to be his like running mate? And I'm like, oh no, he's talking about getting himself some. He is a pedo and everything. And he wants Ellie bad. That's how them cult leaders are. They always mess around with their congregation of people. And so then we see, because we see the reveal of the cannibalism first before Joel does. She's trying to escape, and she stops. Why does she stop? She sees an ear on the floor. She realizes that they eat people. He said, you know, they didn't used to be like that, but things had to change, and only a few people in the cult know about it. So his, like, you know, mountain men and that cook lady who's the mother of that one girl, they all know about it. And honestly, you have to ask yourself, how do people not know they're eating people? But then again, cuts of meat look like anything. I watch Hell's Kitchen, and Chef Ramsay tricks them with like one type of fish, and it's another kind of fish, because you can't really tell, because some things look similar. But when people start missing and all this other stuff, you get to start wondering, hey, where all these people go? Well, they got ate up in your belly. So anyway, she is desperately trying to fight her way out. She breaks the dude's fingers, which pisses him off. And he's all like, now it's time to cut you up in little pieces and everything. So he gets his companion, they throw her on the table, and she's still trying to fight her way out of it. So she bites David on the hand, and this is when she uses her brain. She's all like, I'm infected, and now so are you. So his companion is freaked out. They look at her arm, and so this gives her enough time to get the butcher knife and kill his companion. So then she escapes, and then so he chases after her. He does not believe she's infected. because she's fighting too hard to try to survive, which is like that. I didn't like. Oh wow, that's true. If you're fighting so hard to survive, then you are not dying of the infection. So she grabs like some wood, it's in the fire, and like an idiot, she throws it at him. Now, what made her think that was gonna hurt him? Because of course he ducked out of the way. But this is what sets the fire, and a blaze of glory it is. And how did the people not see the building on fire? Where are they at? So it's a fight. This is a struggle, and she is doing her best. She's trying to hide and everything like that. I thought Joel was gonna save her, but no. Somehow she gets the upper hand as he's going all gross on her and stuff. And then she goes all Sam on screen 5. She takes that knife and she stabs that man over and over and over and over. Blood is splashing on her face. Now we don't actually get to see her stab him. It's similar to screen 5. All we see is the upper torso of her going at it over and over. She literally had to fight for her survival. She is a frantic mess. She is terrified. She runs out the building, and then all of a sudden, somebody grabs her from behind. It's Joel. She's trying to fight because she doesn't know who it is until she sees him, and he calls her baby girl, which is what he used to call his daughter. So now he sees her as that daughter figure. He puts his coat around her and they walk off into the snow, and it ends. This was a very suspenseful episode that really had you scared for her. But like I said before, the pacing is somewhat off because you're dealing with cannibals, you're dealing with like a religious cult, and they don't seem religious, and you're dealing with a groomer pedo dude, and it doesn't have time to breathe. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.